Hi guys, welcome to your Unit 4 review, Solving Linear Equations. A lot of this is review from like 6th and 7th grade. You guys have seen linear equations so much, they just didn't have the word linear in them, okay? So hopefully that helps. Hopefully it wasn't too tough of a unit for you. First, I want us to go over some vocab. Remember, this is a general review. I'm not going to go through problems identical or, set up the exact same way as all of the problems on your test, okay? So just keep that in mind. So first off, constant. So a constant in math is a fixed value. So 2. 2 is a constant because it is constantly equal to 2, right? Or 12. 12 is always equal to 12. A variable is a letter used to find an unknown value. So examples that we've used are like x, n, y, doesn't matter which one you use. Some variables signify certain things, like k is used for scale factor, things like that, but overall it's a letter that helps you figure out what's missing. Solution, hopefully you know that word by now. The answer to an equation, so x equals 7, the solution would be 7. Or coefficient, a number being multiplied by a variable. So in this case, like I've got two examples, 2x or 5y. So the coefficient is the 2 or the 5. Okay, those are the coefficients. Okay, and we know when they're smushed together like that, it means to multiply. All right? Your job in solving equations is always to isolate or find the value of the variable. Okay, that's your ultimate goal with equations. So let's talk about 3 different types of equations. We've got equations with one solution. Those are the ones that we're most familiar with, right? So in this case, my goal is to figure out what is x equal to. So x needs to be alone on one side of the equation. I like my coefficients to stay positive whenever I can, so I'm going to move the 2x over here to the left. So I'll get that by subtracting 2x from both sides. 4x minus 2x is 2x, and we've still got that 7 hanging out. 2x minus 2x is 0, so those cancel, and we're left with 15 on the right side. Next, I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. 7 minus 7 is 0, so those cancel. We're left with 2x on the left, and then 15 minus 7 is 8. All right? Next, we'll divide by 2, divide by 2. So in this case, x is equal to 4, right? 4 is the only number that we could put in for x and make the equation true or solve it. Then we've also seen equations with no solutions. So there isn't a value that you can plug in and make it true. So like in your lesson it said a equals b, right? A is never going to be equal to b. So there's no solution that we can put in there. So for example, and you might be able to recognize it right away, right? If it's 3x on both sides, but then the constants are different, there's nothing we can put in there to make them both true. So, but again, we can attempt to solve it by subtracting 3x from both sides. Well, 3x minus 3x is 0, so those cancel. We're left with 8. 3x minus 3x is 0. Those cancel. We're left with 2. 8 is never going to be equal to 2, so therefore there's no solution. Okay, then there's also equations with infinite solutions. So again, you might be able to recognize it right away, right? Our coefficients are the same, right? And our constants are the same. Of course, 4x plus 6 is equal to 4x plus 6. They're the same thing, right? But we can prove it by trying to solve 4x, but when we do that, they end up canceling out, and we're just left with 6 is equal to 6, which is true. So that means that we could plug anything in for x and make it stay true. The other major concept that we talked about that I wanted to go over was linear equations in real-world situations. So this is an example of one of those types of problems. All right? A cell phone service offers two data options for its customers. In option A, the cost per gigabyte of data is $9. In option B, the cost is $12 per month plus $6 per gigabyte of data. Write and solve an equation to represent the amount of data someone would need to use in a month for both options to be equal. So we want option A, we want that amount to be equal to option B, right? Well, option A, it says the cost per gigabyte is $9. So $9 per gigabyte, okay? So for gigabytes, we'll have that be equal to x. So we can say 9x for A is equal to, and then option B says it's $12 a month. So automatically, before you use anything, you have to spend $12 and then plus $6 per gigabyte. So 6 times x. And now we can solve for x and then to figure out how, let's see, represent the number of gigabytes, right? That's what we're looking for. So 6x gets subtracted from both sides. 9x minus 6x is 3x. We've still got this 12. And then 6x minus 6x is 0, so those cancel out. Divide both sides by 3. On the left we have x, and then 12 divided by 3 is 4. So someone would have to use 4 gigabytes of data in order for both plans to be equal pricing. Okay, that's what that represents. Okay, good luck on your test, and if you need extra support, just let me know.